Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ceci Truman Live. This show will be starting in just a few moments, so stay tuned. And if you're seeing this on social media, please like, share, and follow. For more information, go to trumanforcongress.com. This show is brought to you by Ceci Truman. Here's Ceci.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I wanted to just encourage you all that courageous is contagious. Wanted to open with that statement. Today is Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. January the 7th. Happy New Year to everyone. It's a 24. Let's welcome Tom Trento.
Ceci, how you doing? It's been
Great.
it's been a few months since we were together in the Holy Land, and isn't it absolutely amazing what is going on right now? Unbelievable.
Yes, agreed. Unbelievable. And it gives me chills sometimes to even think that we were actually at many of the locations where the travesty has occurred, the breach in their security, which we will talk about because we are going to talk about America's border issues and what is happening here. But I think it is really important to understand, the viewers need to understand what has occurred in Israel. And just in June, we were there. We went to view border walls, security measures that Israel implements. They're very proactive. Their country is merely the size of the state of New Jersey, and they have to be proactive in security because they are literally surrounded by people who want the Israelis to be extinct. And so anyhow, why don't you share with us what happened in Israel when we went?
Yeah, absolutely. To give your viewers and listeners context. Context is the big word now, context. I run the United West, a counterterrorism organization, an amazing group of people. And for the past 10 years or so, we've been taking small groups of influencers, people who lead organizations, people in law enforcement, media, people running for office. We take them to Israel for a national security briefing. And this past summer, we took you and about 50 or 60 others with Tom Homan, former ICE director under Trump. We also had Sarah Carter. We had Victor Avila, former ICE agent. And the whole idea was to learn about how Israel secured its borders in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west. And we were all over that country, every place that's under attack now. We were there, but that's why we were there. No one could have imagined what would happen just a few months after we were there.
Right. It's extremely heart-wrenching. And I do have some numbers just to kind of give the viewers an idea of what has occurred. If some people are staying really in tune to the news and what is the breach that occurred in Israel. But Israel suffered on October the 7th a barrage of 5,000 rockets to start off with. This started at 6:30 a.m. and approximately 1,194 were murdered in the worst way. This was worse than the Holocaust. 137, and there might be more, kidnapped. They're hostages now. This includes women, children, and elderly. We have 112 that are current survivors from the kidnapping. We have 4,834 that are injured. We have 425 IDF that have been killed. And since October 7th, there have been at least, and probably more, 10,000 rockets that have landed in the small country of Israel. Can we even imagine that happening here in America?
I've been doing a lot of presentations on just what you said, those very, very sad numbers. and if you weigh per capita those numbers, it would be something like we were attacked by Mexico. They killed 50. They go into your district, 25 in California. They kill 50,000 people, slaughter them in 3, 4, 5 hours, and then take captive back to Mexico between 3 and 5,000 people. Imagine if that happened in your district, what this country would be doing right now. And I don't want to hear from all the lefty crazies that Israel is killing babies and doing. This war could stop tomorrow. It could stop tomorrow if the Hamas surrenders and gives up the hostages. The war is over. They don't want it to end. They need to be destroyed.
Right. And they cry ceasefire. Well, they had a ceasefire on October the 6th. That was ceasefire. They can have a ceasefire if they would release the hostages, like right now. There would be a ceasefire. But you know what? I am concerned for America. And my district borders Imperial Valley. It's approximately 1,000 miles all the way to Arizona. But there's a lot of shenanigans going on in Texas, Arizona, here in California. And we have never seen such an influx of people crossing illegally from 166 countries. We even have Gazans that have infiltrated, calling themselves Egyptians. We've got people from China that pretend not to speak English. But you know what? There's something really dark happening. They are coming in. They are setting up cell camps, and this is very dire for America. And people need to wait.
Yeah, look, if nobody knows the real numbers since Biden got elected, and since the inauguration in 21, January 20th, when he sat down very smugly and proudly and ripped up the executive orders that Donald Trump used to protect people in your state, people in my. I live in a border state. I live in Florida. We have 1,300 miles of ocean border. Ceci, how many people came into our state of Florida, and we're very controlled. You can love DeSantis or hate him, but he's done a very good job with law enforcement and immigration, all of that. We had last year under Biden, it's a federal issue, 260,000 illegal people come into the United States, come into the state of Florida. Absolutely unbelievable. But somewhere between 5-7 million have come in under Biden through the southern border. And don't forget, the northern border's not doing that well either. And this could it be treasonous? Sure, there's a line of legal reasoning where this is treasonous. It's certainly irresponsible. It's certainly illegal what they're doing, but it's a planned voter registration drive for the Democrats. Their policies have failed. They're losing people, so they got to import third world slaves and control them like they used to control black people in the 1800s. Now they're going to control brown people from third world countries as the future voters in the Democrat Party.
And I am Hispanic. My grandparents came from Morelia, Michoacan. I am Hispanic. My other grandmother came from Chihuahua, Mexico. But the Hispanics in my district, they want security just like everybody else. Everyone in my district, for the majority, they're blue collar workers. They work hard. They send their kids to the institutions, the public school system to get indoctrinated. And, they come home and it's not safe on the streets. And, everybody wants security. And I'm praying that we can turn this big, ugly ship around, because we need order at the border. And this is really out of control. This is an invasion. This is not a migration. This has been orchestrated from the powers that be. So you have also an offshoot of the United West called Swords of Iron. Can you explain what you do with Swords of Iron?
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't take my hat off to you. Anybody that runs for office, any any conservative. The other people, they have different motives on the Democrat side. But the conservative Republican side, the majority of people, when they run, it's very sacrificial. It's like Trump, it's giving up a lot. It's because you want to serve your country, not as the Democrats, they want their country to serve them. They've flipped what JFK said. So I congratulate you. I encourage you. We'll help you anyway to run to get elected. We need good people for sure. Uh, the United West, we have 4 mission objectives. Defend the U.S. Constitution. We think it's a great document. Defend the state of Israel. It's our number one national security partner. That's why we need to help defend it. We want to defeat Mohammed, which is Islam. We believe that Islam is a failed system. We distinguish between human beings who adhere to the system, they're called Muslims, and the system itself. There's nothing in the world that says I have to respect a system that's inherently false and failed and destructive. So I don't respect the system of Islam. I respect and love the adherents, who many of whom don't want anything to do with it. So we're defeating Mohammed and Marx. Same thing. We don't respect the system that Karl Marx put together, though a good portion of the world through eons, hundreds of years, has followed it to their destruction. So we fight those isms. And when Israel launched their defensive maneuver against the Hamas on October 7th, they entitled it Swords of Iron. They did that, Ceci, because a sword has 2 blades, and it can be used as a defensive weapon or an offensive weapon. And if you notice, it's the Israel Defense Forces, not the Israel, let's go gain territory like Muslims did for 1,400 years and conquer everybody. That's not what the Israelis do. They're defending their homeland. So we took their name, and we have no affiliation to the army or anything like that. As an homage to the IDF, we took the name of their operation, Swords of Iron, and we're applying it in context here in the U.S. And the reason why is because the Hamas ideology and individuals are in operation in America with the same intent: destroy, disable, destruct the operating systems of the United States. So our campaign, Swords of Iron, is assisting in the information battle, is equipping politicians to understand what's going on and people running for office, mobilizing people to work with law enforcement, to be the eyes and ears of law enforcement. And the foundation is we're producing a movie, an expose on Hamas and on Hamas in the United States, so that all these Muslim groups that are really affiliated with Hamas are banned in the United States, are made persona non grata, or as the White House did with CARE, are disavowed by patriotic Americans. That's what we're doing.
And I have recently discovered and that CARE, that universities are actually hiring CARE Muslim Brotherhood as professors. And we wonder why kids are out in the street, pro-Hamas, not ashamed to call themselves a Nazi. So, this is very concerning. And the second segment, we're going to talk about the education system. But Israel is our only ally in the Middle East. We need to defend Israel and support Israel. But again, America, we need to wake up. And, the church needs to wake up in America. They need to activate and engage and not be fearful. God does not want us to be cowards. So we need to be strong. We need to trust God. And, I like to quote, I put it on all my business cards and all my flyers, 2 Chronicles 7:14. And you're a believer, Tom. I'm a believer. God says he promises to heal our land. 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, will seek my face, will turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. Then I will answer your prayers and I will heal your land. And God is a God of promises. He created the heavens, the earth, the galaxies, plural, I like to say. And, we need to turn this country back to biblical values once again, whether we're Jewish, whether we're Christian. We need to turn back to biblical values, because what we're witnessing currently is complete disregard for law. It's just complete lawlessness and chaos. And I always like to say that the Democrats are the party of death, destruction, and depression. We've got a fentanyl issue. We haven't discussed the fentanyl issue yet. The human smuggling and the human trafficking, that's modern day slavery. So I don't know if you want to add
Well,
to that.
let me expand a little bit on your identification of CARE. And again, for your viewers, your listeners, CARE is an acronym, CAIR, Council on American Islamic Relations. They have managed since 1963. That's when they started at University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. The whole plan, CARE is a Muslim Brotherhood. Federal government has identified CARE as a Muslim Brotherhood affiliate, and CARE is an unindicted co-conspirator in a federal terrorism funding trial back in 2007, 2008. So CARE is Hamas. If you think of a public relations arm for Hamas, where they try to keep distance, oh no, we can't, we're against violence, but they all are supporters of the Hamas ideology. Well, as our big concern right now, and the fentanyl is critically important because it's killing Americans. Part of that problem is Americans should not be taking drugs, number one. Number two, some of the kids are taking what they believe are, there's no innocent, recreational drug, but they think it's an innocent recreational drug that's been laced with fentanyl and they die. So this is a problem. But a different problem is an organization that by design has been infiltrating the institutions in America. You identified CARE being in universities. They're on over 600 campuses through the Muslim Student Association. And you see what they're doing now. There's a conflict, Ceci, in Islam. Muslims are told, we are the greatest people. Muhammad is the final prophet. Islam should rule. And they're told from day one, they're wonderful and Islam is great. But then they open their door and go outside, and none of that is true. None of that makes sense in the real world. Every Muslim country is a failed country unless they got oil, and they're still a failed country, throwing the oil all over the place. And you compare the Nobel prizes, the Jewish people and Muslims. Jews have like 10 million Nobel prizes. Muslims have 3 or 4. So Muslims go around being told we're the greatest, but in reality, they know they're not. So there's an internal psychological uneasiness, an existential crisis as a result of what's going on in Israel right now, where the evil dog Jew is destroying the Hamas and humiliating them. The lion brothers of the Hamas, the Muslim young military age men, are starting to go beyond protesting to semi-kinetic. And as Israel continues to destroy Hamas and then goes up north for Hezbollah, you're going to see more and more Muslims getting aggressive, violating the law, indeed putting on suicide belts in 2024. I'm calling it the year of the evil Muslim jihadi, and taking cars and running over people and stabbing people. You're going to see what they do in the Middle East coming to the United States, particularly in the urban areas, particularly where the George Floyd riots were. Welcome to America 2024.
Right. And this is what America needs to be aware of. I don't want America to get to the point like the Revolutionary War where we are fighting with weapons, to defend our home. I'm trying to fight on this platform, the political platform. And, we do need to, it is our job to expose what is not correct, or what are the lies. For example, Hamas, they demand humanitarian aid, right? Does the humanitarian aid go to the actual Gazans? No, they don't even care about their own people. And so this is just shows who they truly are. They build their bunkers where they launch rockets out of underneath schools and hospitals. And we have now discovered that in Israel, for example, there is 300 miles across Gaza. Uh, these tunnels that we saw a Hezbollah tunnel when we were in Israel,
Yeah,
but
we were in one. Yeah.
Gaza's in the south, and those tunnels go 7 stories below the ground. So now IDF is being forced to not fight above the ground so much as underneath in the tunnels. So it's very interesting. My district's desert. I have no doubt that there is a tunnel system underneath the desert floors in my district of Imperial Valley. So, very, very concerning. It's time for America to wake up. And I don't want America to be fearful, but we need to activate, we need to engage, and we need to hold our our elected officials accountable, and they need to show strength instead of weakness. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of weakness. There's not a lot of proactive measures happening. And so that's what I want to do when I get to Congress.
Yeah, absolutely, and you need to do that, and we need, when you get there, we need you to wake up other members of Congress to what's going on, because, as I said, when CARE got here in 1963, and one of the architects back then was a guy by the name of Abu Musa Marzouk. Not too many people know about him, but he was the architect behind organizing CARE. And just yesterday, a couple of days ago, he is the chief political leader of the Hamas now, hiding out in Qatar or Turkey somewhere. I don't think he's in Lebanon at this point anymore. But, he came out and said that there'll be no ceasefire. They'll continue. You see, part of the military strategy of the IDF is to kill the enemy. Part of the military strategy of the Hamas is to have the enemy, the IDF, kill citizens. It's to the Hamas's benefit worldwide if Israel kills babies, and CNN playing the dopey fool holds the babies up every 5 minutes, and my heart breaks when I see that. But then I go back to Marzouk and Mohammed Def and Yahya Sinwar and Hassan Nasrallah with Hezbollah and Ishmael Haniyeh, all these guys. They end the baby killing tomorrow. So my sympathy stays with the baby, but goes away from the movement, because the more babies die, the more world pressure put on Israel to condemn them. And Hamas believes if they could hold out, the world will stop, particularly the United States, stop Israel. And if there's 2 people left, and 1 pea shooter, the Hamas will declare victory, and Muslims worldwide will say, "Aha, they didn't kill all of us," and they'll view that as a win. And that we can't allow that to happen, because that will energize the jihadis in America to be more bold, more destructive, particularly in your state. They're going to ignite in the state of California, no question.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know that Israel is very compassionate, and they don't want to kill civilians. I mean, they go as far as it's something called roof knocking. They warn the people before they have to shoot, and it's a precision targeting to the leaders, to the actual terrorists. That's what are trying to accomplish. And so they don't want to kill the innocent civilians. That is not their heart. You know, they're very compassionate. They will take a Gazan to their hospitals and treat the Gazans before their IDF soldiers. So that just shows you that Israelis, just like Christians, they love life. We're on the side of life. And we have to destroy the terrorists because they are on the side of death and destruction. So, well, Tom, I will have you back. I would love to talk further, but I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us all about what you do. And I know I wanted to add, you were with Tom Homan. You guys link arms a lot together. Tom Homan was our director of ICE under President Trump. And Trump says when he comes back, Tom Homan is going to be our ICE director once again. And so I'm very excited for that. We love Tom Homan and we appreciate his heart. He's so compassionate. He has seen so much at the border, and it's a very heart-wrenching, the stories that he's told us. So we don't want to see any more death. We don't want to see innocent migrants, you know, being hurt on the border. And we don't want to see fentanyl poisoning Americans. And we know that the cartels cannot operate without the blessing of China. We know where this fentanyl is coming from. So we've got work to do when we get to Congress, but I will be working with you and with Tom Homan and some other amazing patriots. But thank you so much, Tom. God bless you. God save America.
Bye-bye. Thank you very, very much.
So anyway, God bless you all. And until next time.
This show is brought to you by Ceci Truman.